My name is Betty Callahan. I'm 72 years old. I've run a little seafood shack on the Maine coast for over 30 years. Lobster rolls, chowder, and strong coffee for the fishermen before sunrise. Nothing fancy. Nothing fancy ever suited me. I had Carol, and that was enough. Then Carol was gone. 47 years old. Pancreatic cancer. By the time the doctors found it, there was nothing left to do. She knew for months before she told me. Said she didn't want me worrying. That was Carol. From the day she was born until the day she died. She spent every breath thinking about me. The last night in the hospital, she took my hand. Lord, how thin it had gotten. I could feel every knuckle, every bone. The room smelled like antiseptic and recycled air, cold and sharp. That smell stayed in my lungs for weeks after. Mom, look in my purse. There's an envelope. Her voice was barely there. I dug through her old brown leather bag. The one she'd carried for 15 years. Inside the envelope was a flat, heavy card. Dark gray, almost charcoal. No flash to it. Stamped on the front in small letters Hargrove. Maritime Foundation Donor Authorization Card. Carol, whose is this? Use it, Mom. For the funeral. All of it. This isn't yours to give. Yes it is. You have to use it. Promise me. She couldn't say more. Her breathing changed. Before dawn, she was gone. I sat there holding that card while the warmth left her hand. I didn't know what it was or where she got it. But she had used her last words to make me promise. I couldn't let that go. I had no money. The shack had been closed for months while I drove Carol to treatments. No savings left. No family to call. I stood in the funeral home office. And put that card on the counter with shaking hands. The woman at the desk ran it through. Approved, she said. Just like that. No hesitation. No error. I said thank you and walked back to sit with my daughter one last time. White chrysanthemums on the table. Their smell was heavy and sweet. I kept thinking about the way Carol used to draw at the kitchen table as a little girl. I never could afford art classes for her. 3 days later, someone knocked on my door. 2 people in dark jackets. One showed a badge. Ma'am, we're from the local precinct. Are you Betty Callahan? My stomach dropped. I am a 72-year-old woman. I have never had trouble with the law in my life. My hands were trembling when I let them in. I kept my eyes down the whole time, hoping none of my neighbors were watching through the window. The shame of it was worse than the fear. We need to ask you about a transaction made at Northside Funeral Home. The card used belongs to a Robert Hargrove. I couldn't breathe. Robert Hargrove. That was the name of the man I divorced 30 years ago. The next afternoon, a black SUV pulled up to my house. The door opened and a man stepped out. White hair, slightly stooped, but the same straight way of walking. He looked up and our eyes met and I could not move. It was Robert, 30 years older but unmistakably Robert. Neither of us spoke. The wind off the water moved between us. He spoke first. Is Carol Callahan your daughter? Yes. Silence. Then something broke open in his face. He was crying. This 78-year-old man, standing in front of my house, crying. Carol is my daughter. The world tilted. I had told Carol her father died when she was young. The truth was, after the divorce, Robert simply disappeared from our lives. Had Carol known? For how long? Robert told me the foundation card was a private donor instrument, not available to the public. He had no idea how Carol got it. But when it was used, an automatic alert went to his personal phone. Funeral home purchase. Carol's name on the account. Later, going through Carol's things, I found a journal. Pages worn soft. And there it was, in her handwriting. I found out Robert Hargrove is my father. Mom doesn't know. I won't reach out. But if I go first, I can't leave Mom alone. I have a plan. I have his foundation card from a charity gala last year. If I put it in Mom's hands, the alert will go straight to him. That's how they'll find each other. This is the last thing I can give her. I sat on the floor of Carol's apartment and could not get up for a long time. Robert read the journal. He said, leaving you two was the worst thing I ever did. I thought building the foundation was love. I was wrong. Carol didn't hold it against you, I told him. She wasn't built that way. We didn't say much after that. We didn't need to. A few weeks later Robert drove up to Maine on a Tuesday. No occasion. He sat at the counter of my shack and ate a lobster roll. I made him a cup of coffee. We talked about Carol. That was the beginning. I've cleared out a corner of the shack now. Carol always wanted to teach art to kids in town. The ones whose families couldn't afford classes. I'm going to do it for her. Robert sent supplies. I almost said no. Then I thought about Carol, and I said yes. That's how we became family. No ceremony, no paperwork, just two old people sitting at a fish counter, drinking bad coffee. Keeping Carol alive between us. Carol, Mom's okay. You made sure of that. I got your message, baby. Loud and clear.